Chad Focus, what were your thoughts on his last start win, the first time that you rode him?
Yeah, it was a good win. Obviously, he dropped to the bottom of Class 4 and then Ricky put the blinkers on. He's a horse with good gate speed, but we just conserved him a little bit the first furlong of the race, and he travelled well on the fence and he produced a strong kick. He's going to carry a little bit more weight now, but again, he's drawn a nice barrier and the race doesn't look overly strong, so hopefully with his blinkers on he can keep going.
Looking at last time when you did try to restrain him and conserve his energy, you looked a little bit keen. Is he still learning what racing's all about?
I think so. He's yeah, like I said, he's got a lot of gate speed, and when I just took hold of him, he wanted to run momentarily, but then he relaxed well for me, and he was able to kick strong. So it's definitely a better way to ride him because it was the first time he won. So let's hope he can do it again.
He's had 8 or 9 starts, first win last time out. Does he have further rating points in hand?
I think he does. Yeah, he like I said, dropped all the way to the bottom of Class 4. Now he's probably going to work his way back up. But his rating at the moment is still really good and he can definitely win again.
Joe Nobleman, he's an ISG who you'd ridden a few of his trials last season, a few this season as well. What were your thoughts on that first up run from him?
A good surprising one. His trials has been okay only, but size gave him plenty of time to adapt himself to the place and get himself fit. And he didn't disgrace first up. He ran a very good run.
How much will he have learnt from that experience of going to the races at Happy Valley?
He should learn a lot because he actually got back and he ran home very strongly, a mound in between horses. And that's all that you want for a horse that are having their first start. And he should learn a lot from that.
He's drawn gate 2. There looks to be decent speed on in the race. What's your mindset going into this race with him?
We haven't set up a plan on how we're going to ride him yet, but I see it as he's a type of a horse that he doesn't have as much speed as some of the other horses in the race, and I think he's not going to be challenged them for that speed. But he certainly should be one of those that will be running home very strongly.
Sacred Capital, Joe, the Macau visitor that you ride in the January Cup on Wednesday night. You had to sit on him in track work on Sunday. What was he like?
Very nice horse, good looking, big and strong. He seems not to be a very difficult horse to ride, I guess. He's off a good gait and with a light enough weight, so he's going into this race with a genuine chance.
You look at the run on the ladies' purse, he wasn't too far off Southern Legend, Exalted. That form looks good for a race like this.
Well, if you look deep into it, yes, it does look good. And as I said, if he brings that form that he runs on the ladies' purse, you would think that he's a big chance in this race. As I said, he's carrying 118, and that's probably a light enough weight to put him in the range of a winning chance.
And racing at Happy Valley for the first time, you've ridden a type where he's done the majority of his racing. How does that compare to a track like Happy Valley?
I actually see Macau race course not much different than what it is Happy Valley, and I think he's going to be suited by the track in a good way.
Blake Victoriam, you rode him first up over 1,000 metres. He looked to be getting home really well that night.
He did, yes. He hit the line really well. Probably a victim of just the bad barrier, having to ride him quiet. But it was great to see him return to his best form off the back of a little bit of a let-up and probably off the back of a bit of a disappointing run, but he's always promised that he's got nice ability, and I'm delighted to retain the ride on him.
Do you think it's best to ride him cold from that draw again?
Interesting question. Looking at the race, there appears not a great deal of speed. There's a lot of get-back run-on types. My horse has proven that he can race on the speed and win, so he appears a versatile type. I think it's just a matter of calling it as you see it from the jump and working out the speed. There's a fair few horses that are sit sprints type, so you don't want to go too quick and set it up for something, but we've got a tricky draw to overcome, and we've just got to do the best that we can from that draw.
And you're familiar with a couple of his rivals in the race, Joyful Union, Shining Ace, both horses that you've ridden recently. How does he measure up with them on your sort of feel of those horses?
Look, I'm very confident that he's good enough to beat them. Both of those horses have been running particularly well. Shining Ace, you know, I feel he's had every chance at his past 3 starts, and he might be just reaching his mark at the ratings. Joyful Union's a lovely horse. Certainly can win it at this level and at that rating, but he's a sit-sprint type. He probably needs pace in his races to suit him. So, look, they're going to be the testing material, both of those horses in the race, but I'm confident my horse can do it.